And for our second Viking rune reading of the day, we have Hagalaz, Raidho, and Issa. Hail, chariot, movement, blockage, ice. Now, what we see here on the surface is literally somebody out there in the collective could be experiencing a storm, a cold storm, a rainstorm, a snowstorm, and they are experiencing car problems that cause their life to go on hold, or they experience a chaotic issue on the roads today, which slows down traffic, and they have to collaborate with others in order to maneuver around traffic, but there's a lot of blockages. That could be a very surface level explanation. Another explanation could be that whether it be relationship oriented, career oriented, there's a lot of turbulence in one's life. And although they have the ability to move forward right now, they still encounter a blockage, which forces them into a situation where they have to wait until the ice breaks up, and ice always melts. Okay, but to look at this a little bit more further detail, Hagalaz is a very powerful force of nature. Hailstorms, they force you to stop what you're doing, okay, because it is dangerous to move forward through a hailstorm. And when I asked for further elaboration, I received the Nine of Swords. And a long time ago, like I'm saying, in the 1800s, whenever the Knight of Spades would appear, it would suggest military action, some type of impending invasive or foreign entity invading your home, invading your principality, invading your country. Okay, this is a militarized force invading. But then you see a bind rune, and it consists of Tiwaz with the arrow pointing up, Sovilo with the lightning bolt in the middle, and Thurisaz, which kind of looks like a P at the end of this. And that would signify victory and justice, success, and utilizing powerful force in order to hack through something negative coming at you. So Hagalaz would be something negative coming at you, and the Knight of Swords could also be that something negative coming at you, a very negative, aggressive energy, a certain sense of recklessness. But this could also suggest the members of the collective that this reading resonates with harnessing that powerful and reckless energy in order to pillage through a difficult situation. And then they come to Raidho, which is about movement. And that could be movement of location, movement of home. That could be movement, travel, movement out of one's country, out of one's town, city. It could even just be a matter of, going to work that day, the journey to work that day, going on some kind of trip, or needing to repair your vehicle. And we have the Three of Shields, or the Three of Pentacles, and threes have to do with collaborating with others. But as you see in this Viking runic card, this reading, and he's like, Arr! He's really passionate about it. He's working on Vegvizir, which is about direction, and it is about protection. And you have Algi's about protection, and then you have what looks like a modification of either Kelk in reverse, which is an Anglo-Saxon rune for offering, or it is Fehu upward. I'm not quite sure about that one. Either way, this has to do with collaborating in order to make a movement forward and being somewhat, or having the idea that one can be successful after all of this turbulence, yet bam, getting hit with Issa once again and being blocked from that movement. But you have to understand that Issa also works to your advantage as well, where you utilize this in order to block other people from attacking. In addition to that, in my experience with Issa has appeared to me when I've had to put an illness of a loved one on ice. So the loved one had a certain type of illness, and we had to find something in order to, kind of bandage the situation until we could figure out what the cause of the illness was. So sometimes Issa is about putting things on hold, freezing things over until you can figure out a solution. Okay. So when I asked for further elaboration, I received the Nine of Wands. Okay. And you see this man, he's looking there, he's got his 9 of Wands set up, and you see Lagus and Sowilo. And this rune, because you got to remember, there's the Elder Futhorc, the Younger Futhorc, the Anglo-Saxon Futhorc. There's also a Germanic Futhorc that was utilized during World War II by a name that we shall not mention in this reading. There's variations of this runic alphabet, and sometimes, unless I take a look, I gotta revisit this bad boy right there. Sometimes he's referred to as Calc. And there are about, I think, 3 or 4 versions of Calc, which symbolizes a chalice. Offerings, okay? So then we have offerings, emotion, and usually the 9 of Wands has to do with a very fiery, powerful individual who has strong emotions for those that they care for, and they are offering protection to those loved ones. And this person is also has the Sowilo rune in this card, which means there could be a halt to plans because somebody feels very passionately about protecting their loved ones and offering their protection. And why do they have to do that? Because we got some bad juju here. And it's funny that we're ending the reading with swords here and fire. And we started it with the Knight of Swords attacking. So somebody is attacking. And as a result, there is protection needed and defense. And as you can see, this rune here would resemble a funeral pyre. And I forgot the name of it, but it's an Anglo-Saxon rune. And this means absolute death. Like, this is what dead bodies would be hung on, and then their flesh would be burned right off. So whatever is happening here, somebody is attacking and someone else is defending. And this conflict, this controversy is causing a halt in movement. But at the same time, somebody here is preparing to move forward. So they could be putting up walls and barriers around themselves in order to protect themselves by whoever is being sneaky. And 5 of Swords can also have to do with slander, gossip, cruelty exhibited by cowardly people. Remember that. Cruelty exhibited and inflicted by cowardly people. This is somebody who will take advantage of, you know, and I don't want to call it weak spots. I want to call it political loopholes in the system. They exploit bureaucratic tape, they exploit political loopholes, legal loopholes, and they exploit those loopholes, create a distraction from whatever chaos they are inflicting upon people. But it says here you can defend yourself against this and you'll be successful. And then bam, we get hit with the Chariot again. And Raidho has a lot to do with the Chariot. And we get the Chariot here, and it's accompanied by Kanaz. And Kanaz is like a torch, showing you the way out of a situation, lighting the way. And this is the beautiful goddess Freya and her 2 beautiful cats. So I'm going to quickly do another rune reading. And you know what? I promised myself this reading would only be 60 seconds. We're at 8 minutes and 30 seconds. And it's such a travesty because no one watches these the whole way through. And I'm telling you. So what do we need to know? Sorry, I'm just picking a handful of runes out of my bag. What do we need to know here? And I use different alphabets because these runes have appeared to me while I'm sleeping or while I'm walking around, and I have to look for them, and then I find out what they are. What does this person need to know? Because they are going to get past this blockage. They are going to battle their way out. You can't change this person, though, who's attacking. What's going to happen here? Bam. Check this out. Here's Calc again. And I told y'all, if you were listening, there's different variations of Calc. Calc and Calc. Offerings are going to be made. Tiwaz, victory and success. And off in the distance, over here appearing over Hagalaz, there was a weakness and strength, but you're going to overcome this. Have faith.